Today is September the 11th, 2025, and about the most benign, I don't give a damn what someone thinks about what I'm going to say here, at least domestically, peacemonger in terms of internal American non-American issues. He was a peacenik. I don't care who wants to twist his words, and they will, because this is what these people do. I don't like people who use the phrase, I knew it was going to fill in the blank all the time. I prefer to make a point to talk about all the things where I say, I thought fill in the blank was going to happen, but man, oh man, talk about being wrong. If that was a stock and I invested in it, boy, would I be short on, whatever. Spent a lot of time doing that. I know I've said a lot of things on social media, even some videos here and there saying that, but I'm going to, I don't care if it comes across as self-indulgence, talk about how I was right about something, not that I wanted to be. Although, honestly, I thought something like this was going to happen a long time before. I had said several times, my friends can attest to this, unfortunately, my Facebook account that I had these conversations on was one of the many, many, many that were deleted, bot, gone haywire. Meta never followed up on that. But I digress. I didn't think it would be Charlie Kirk, not in a million years. I don't know why I didn't even think about it being him. There have been many people I thought that somebody would try to have a shot at. I can't tell you the date that I left the left. When you're divorcing, when you're getting a divorce from irrational thinking that you got married, it doesn't, if you're like most of the people, and I'm no exception, it takes a while. You got to move your stuff out. You got to, you got to make phone calls. You got to get things transferred to one name to another. You got to resort whose stuff is whose. And you're divorcing irrationality and, frankly, suspended childish fantasy mingled with rage, which is what makes a communist a communist. And by the way, I use the word communist as a blanket term for anybody, any group, any person, individual or group, that they're all at the same marches together every time. They're all behind the same causes every time. They have different patterns on their flags or patches or armbands. But I don't want to waste my time knowing if you're a syndicalist, if you're anarcho-social. No. It's been 140 years we've been humoring you guys with this stuff. It's over. Bring back McCarthy. You're just communists. Okay? Simple, easy, pre-Rousseau shit. Okay? If you don't like that, you don't like me anyway. So enjoy me saying something you don't like. Okay. There's one communist out there that I still got respect for. I couldn't believe what I saw, but I digress. You're still out there. You know who you are if this comes across your way. If you know. There I go. I knew this was going to happen, but I don't think I'm a super genius. I think what I was wrong about is how damn long it took. And again, Charlie Kirk of all people. Twist his words all you want. Reinterpret what he says all you want. Put your own spin on it like you do. The man was probably the least dangerous, and maybe that's why they didn't like him. I am going to say what we all know within reasonable assumption. Yes, there's a long shot that this was a disgruntled right-wing conservative. I mean, in the real sense of the word, in the American sense of the word. It could be a guy who was hearing voices in his head. It's possible. Maybe. But we're all adults. We've all heard rhetoric. From coast to coast, continent to continent, unfortunately. This was the work of the red-green pill. Those of you, I feel like if you have to have it explained to you, I made that term up because I was really not liking the fact that I had to separate people who are in on the same causes all the time. It doesn't matter that as soon as one of them got to power, if they ever, God forbid, achieved power, the other one would be they would be in mass graves the next day, the other side. For whatever reason, I actually know basically the reason because it's a history thing. it's beyond the scope of this, that the red and green, the ideological colors of the two. I'm sorry if you don't know what that is. I've just decided I'm not explaining it now. If someone wants to put it in the comments section and ask me to explain it, I'll make a video explaining it. I'm not expecting to become some huge YouTuber. So if there's one of you that hears this and you want me to do it, you better say so, because I am not going to be going out of my way to get a bunch of followers and get it. Okay, I'm not that kind of ham, if I'm a ham at all. And I don't think I'm going to be making money doing this. I won't not do it, but it's really... Let's talk about not Charlie Kirk. Plenty of people have done a much better job at that than I can. Although I will say this about Charlie Kirk. One, I call him a peacenik, at least a domestic peacenik, because he encouraged Americans who completely abhor each other to finally sit down and talk. God forbid. Oh, how awful, awful talk. But unfortunately, there's an ideology that has embraced. Fortunately, there's people leaving that camp on this principle alone. Leaving. Because they're sick of people saying, if your husband is a Trump supporter or wife, leave them. The fuck is wrong with you? But then again, if you're anti-family, what else can you expect? I've seen parents that don't talk to their kids. Kids don't talk to their parents. I mean kids. I mean adults. That, lifelong friends, and you all, and I've been disowned over voting for Trump because my feelings aren't particularly hurt. Frankly, I'm surprised that the one in particular that disowned me, I kind of saw it coming, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and boy, oh boy, do I regret that. And that's what we're here. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. Maybe you don't like the fact, well, not maybe. You don't like the fact that he made his cases very well. Now, there's a couple of issues that I really disagree with him on, and he still beat you guys in these arguments. It's abortion. No, I'm not pro-abortion. No, I'm not anti-abortion. I have a very nuanced, very detailed opinion on abortion, and then there comes a point where I break away where my opinion doesn't matter because I'm not qualified beyond a certain point. It's beyond the scope of this, as is many other things that I will be saying that about. I don't believe that it is a life at conception and before the trick towels are even dry that it's murder. However, if you abort a baby after the water breaks, you're a murderer. You're a horrible. You're a baby. You deliberately killed a baby. I have had that conversation. I digress. Now, Charlie Kirk, he's a before you wipe it off of you, she's carrying a life. It's just, to me, it's just like this, no brain. Okay, but this is where me and Charlie Kirk disagreed on one thing. That's one of the things. It's not important. I just felt the need to mention that so that I'd make the point that I'm not a part of any. Well, I almost said his cult of personality. He's not Trump. He doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't have one that I've seen. Now, I don't give a shit about you guys as say, oh, he was not, he was a fascist. Okay, whatever. Guys, so tired. That's so tired. There are so many more people. Now, he didn't shoot Nick Fuentes. Not, and don't do that, by the way. But if you had to choose between Nick friggin' Fuentes, and Charlie Kirk, or your kids were gonna, like that Christopher Walken movie, I forgot what it was called in the 90s, where if the guy didn't empty the gun on a politician and kill her, they were gonna kill his daughter. You're in a situation like that or worse, but and you had to pick one of them, or that Dan Branshaw, whatever the hell, the PUA guy, the son of a millionaire, that is now accusing Jews of every conspiracy theory that anyone has dreamt up for the last 2,000 years. And yes, I'm a little hung up on the Jewish thing because you start at home and then you work your way out from there. Anybody have a problem with that? Yeah, well, bite my gabakafaka, okay? I don't care. I don't want to talk about Jewish matters right now. I do on other times, and I will. Believe me, I will. Tucker Carlson. I would never do what this bastard did to Charlie Kirk, to Tucker Carlson. But if you're going to pick somebody on the right, well, of course, it's easy for me to say, we're talking about the woke right with these guys. And I despise them as much as the woke left. Candace Owens. Okay, but again, all of these are people that I don't, because they put me, my respective people, independent of our overall diaspora and gracious host nation. God bless America. So, I'm trying to think of somebody on line with the Groyper that doesn't hate Jews. There aren't any now, I don't think. Damn. I should not be surprised. Okay. The point is, you could have picked, hypothetically, you could have picked anyone else on the right. You've never had such a gentleman that's nice to people until they're not nice to him. And even then, he's usually nice to them until they really push it. I have never celebrated the death of somebody that didn't cause the death of another person. Assaults, that some would consider worse than death itself in certain situations. Things that involve Jared Fogle related shit. I have never. I am not saying, therefore, I'm this beacon of morality. This is not about me. This is about you. Now, the gentleman who's on the screen right here, because I don't want him to take this the wrong way. I respect him. He said the world is definitely a terrible place right now. This might surprise you. I actually don't agree with that statement, but we'll let it go. People should not hate people. On the whole, that is so. More importantly is the next one. And people should not kill people. I understand you want to make this short because we all know that there is times when you must, but we all know what those times entail. Except for crazy people, we all agree at least on the basics as to when you do. But that's not what this gentleman is saying. I know what he means. We all know what he means. Let's have a look. And by the way, if you say something on the internet, I'm not out to dox people, but I'm not out to go out of my way to blur names either. Especially since some of these people were my accusers back in 2018 and they decided to put me on blast. And none of them that apologized later are present. At least last I looked. So let's have a look. Let's open our Christmas presents right here. Ooh. Let's open my late birthday present. God bless you Christians, by the way. A little early for Merry Christmas. I didn't want that to be taken the wrong way. Except you replacement theology, you guys can go to your own hell. I don't care. But the rest of you, I love you. Okay. They don't get a lot of love with some of these people. That's too bad. Let's have a look.
But you also believe Jesus is a rabbinic Jew in heaven when you know the Talmud states he's in hell burning in feces.
Okay, so you're a Talmudic expert, right? Which Talmud is that in? Jerusalem or Babylonian?
I'm talking about Jerusalem, sir.
Oh, that's the Jerusalem, which actually is not as divinely inspired. Which one's longer and how long is it? Don't look at your phone. Look at me in the eye.
I'm not
No, come
really
on. You said that I'm a tool of the Jews, so look at me in the eye like a man.
Said I'm talking about the Talmud.
No, you accused me of saying like you're a Zionist or something, right?
I mean, do you support Israel?
Yes, of course I do. Yes.
Okay, that's good for you. But that's another thing. You're an advocate for the military in America.
Hold on, time out.
But then you agree with Israel's war crimes. What's up with that?
Oh, war crimes. We'll get into that, but let's be more specific.
Yeah.
What is your point here of dragging up a multi-thousand-year text that you don't know, that you haven't read?
I mean,
you have not even. Have you purchased the Talmud? Have you read the Talmud? What is the Talmud? Tell me the difference between the Torah, the Tanakh, and the Talmud. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
But
That's pretty important. Time out. So what you did is you cherry-picked something on the internet that makes Jews look bad, but you can't tell me the difference between the Torah and the Tanakh and the Talmud.
I'm not trying to make the Jews look
bad. This is ridiculous. This is for clickbait. Let me tell you the difference. The Torah is the books that we as Christians acknowledge. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the most holy scriptures in Judaism. The Tanakh is also our Old Testament, right? That's Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Kings, Hezekiah, Nehemiah, Ezekiel. The Talmud are rabbinic debates spanning over 500 years, of which there's the Babylonian and the Jerusalem Talmud. The Babylonian's actually more inspired, it's 2.5 million words. The Jerusalem is lesser inspired, and they disagree on all sorts of stuff, and they pick it up. Those are people that would they say, well, I disagree with that. No, but hold on a second. But it's very important. You don't even know the stuff that you're bringing up to this event.
That's why I'm asking you.
No. It's really important because what you're trying is like this context. You're a tool of the Jews, and I read this thing. But let's just make this very clear.
Sir, it's an agree to disagreement. I'm not here.
It's not agree to disagreement. It's very clear. It's that you don't even know the stuff you're bringing up to make someone look bad.
Do you agree or disagree? So I can
Of course, I disagree with rabbinic Judaism. I'm a Christian. Jesus is the solution. I hope every Jew gives their life to Christ.
This debating thing and
but hold on, this is very important.
You're trying to get clicks out of it. All I'm asking you is
No, you were trying to get clicks out. Who was trying to get clicks? He was trying to get clicks
I don't have a
out
YouTube
of
channel.
trying to read the Talmud. You don't even know what it is, the Talmud.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
Let me ask you a question. Do we as Christians have a biblical obligation to the Jews?
I mean, you tell me, since I'm not knowledgeable on it.
Yes, we do. Paul says.
Hold up.
It's fine. Yes, I'm sure we're going to have a Catholic disagree. People say we're the new Israel.
But
hold on a second.
How can you believe that there's the chosen people? You're Christian.
Hold on a second, because Paul said first to the Jews.
Okay.
Paul was around in a time after the resurrection of Christ. Don't you acknowledge that there was something special in the book of Exodus when God decided to work miraculously of those people out of Egypt and bring them into the desert? Isn't that a chosen people? Secondly, the covenant, the law, the Decalogue, the Torah, they are the keepers of the law. In fact, that's why it says in Galatians 3, the law is a school teacher of Jesus Christ. Genesis 12:3, if you bless Israel, I will bless you. Same thing in the book of Numbers. And so what I'm getting at, we as Christians are bound to bless the state of Israel and to bless Jews.
How can you bless yourself, man?
Of course, but let's just talk more about Israel. Do you think, who's the bad actor, Israel or Hamas?
I believe that what Hamas is doing wrong, but that's not okay for what Israel is doing to the Palestinians.
What is Israel doing exactly? Tell me in detail. Where is it happening?
Crimes,
war crimes, really? How?
What do you mean how? They're killing little kids, man.
Well, hold on. Killing kids. You mean they drop leaflets before they bomb in Gaza? They warn civilian corridors before they ever engage militarily. They do emergency medical procedures for any person.